Hello, everyone. This is the OracleShariananda, and we continue our discussion of the crow magic or the power of crow. This is part two. In my last section of the discussion, I gave you some examples from my own life regarding the power of crow and the ways in which it had protected me and directed me. So in this part, I would like to talk to you about the uses of crow feathers and other means by which crow has entered my life and directed me. So let's start with crow feathers. In the last video, I was showing you this bundle. Now, this bundle of crow feathers represents perhaps a year's worth of collecting feathers. I never fail to stop and pick up a crow feather if I see it at my foot. It tells me at the moment that I pass it that that is a commentary on my path, that I am walking the path of the shaman or walking the path of the mystic or walking the path of the metaphysician. But in any case, I am completely committed to following the direction of crow. Now, for those of you who wonder how maybe an African American came to be so interested in metaphysical things, I can only say that I have as a record in my own dream journals as well as in my daily journal of my life indications that I have spiritual ancestors. I believe at the very top of both sides of my family tree are Native Americans who have been steeped, of course, in traditions that far exceed my memory to know them. But there are things that I know that I don't know how I know. And that is one of the reasons that I call myself oracular or an oracle, because many times when I speak from a well of knowing that does not have to go through my brain. So, in the matter of the crow, I have found that if I bundle a number of feathers together, then I can use this feather bundle to clear the aura. So, if a person comes to me who has some bodily aches and or pains, who seems to have energies clinging to the auric field that are making that person unwell or seem to feel unwell, I use the crow feather to to briefly wash the outer exterior of the auric field off, clear across the head, down the side of the body, across the breast, and of course the chakras. So we go down, we brush away, down and away. The bundle of crow feathers also may be used to bind a Bible or a book of any kind that you no longer wish to use and you no longer want that knowledge in the world. If you have a bundle of letters, say for example, that you do not want anyone else to read, then you take a bundle of crow feathers, you tape it or tie it to the bundle of letters, and you burn it and or put it away where it cannot be touched. The crow feather is a sacred feather. It is a feather that binds us to law. In the medicine book, which I showed you in part one of the things that is said of crow is that it is born of woman, and that crow comes in out of the void from a speck of nothing. Well, if you've ever listened to some of the Big Bang Theory, as if there was a single impactful and intense compact moment when a single dot of energy exploded into all of the known universes and the unknown ones, I suppose, and that out of that flew the crow. Now, of course, there are many ancient and even modern stories of our creation, but I tend to enjoy the idea that crow exploded out of that single dot, that it, in fact, is one of those ideas of life force. This, of course, does not necessarily conflict with my ability to hold that God spoke the first word of being, and in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So let's say that God said, "Let there be light," And at the same time, that lightness was a part of all that is that has come to be. So I'm constantly adjusting my metaphysical beliefs in the shadow and the light to my Christian beliefs in the power of God. I tend to say all things work together for good for those who love the Lord and seek to do its will. So I love the Lord and I seek to do its will. And when I say it's, that's he, she, it. That's mother, father, God. That's uncle, cousin, brother, sister, God. That's neighbor, uncle, friend, stranger, baby, God. That's dog and cat, God. God is in all and of all. And so I find no contradiction in knowing that some of the mysticism of the world rests in the creation in and of itself, that our divine one, our higher power, our source, our creator has in fact left for us as clues. There are mysteries on this planet that far exceed my dabbling with the crow energy and finding out what mysteries lie there. I leave those mysteries to other people, but the ones that I have found most interesting and most useful, I share with you. So that takes me to some images. So Crow has actually begun to show up in decks of cards, tarot decks. And there is a tarot deck that it's called the Crow's Magic. And this is one of the images from the Crow's Magic. This tarot is by Landra Marks. And here is your box with the Crow's Magic Tarot. And on the back side is a very odd image of a salamander, which is the dream time, represents the dream time. It's the Page of Cups. But that we would have someone who would actually invest their actually invest their time into showing us the crows of power. So in another part of this particular video, part three, I believe, if we get to it, I would like to do a reading using that crow's magic deck. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you is that in the Noreen Scully book, we get some ancient images of Crow as well. We get the image of Crow calling and coming in for a landing, and that some Aboriginal and ancient images that say something about the intersection of pathways and the carriage of good into our lives. So Crow is not stork. It does not deliver babies. And Crow is not the flamingo. It does not teach us about balance. Crow is not the hawk. It does not look with the same eye at a long distance. But what Crow does have is an eye that can see the past, present, and future. And so when you get a confluence of the past, present, and future looking into the crow's eye, if you find that, that means that everything has come together. There's a certain synchronicity, a certain um, a certain flow and connection and intersection of past, present, and future. So you must take as much as you can from this particular video on the crow, because it allows you to start to integrate what it is you are in fact seeing. So as I've said, the crow feather itself can be used to cleanse the aura. It can be used to bind the word or anything that is unwanted. I tend to keep crow feathers at my door. When I get bills and I want them paid, I put 2 crow feathers or 3 crow feathers on them, because I know that there is a magical way for all things to come together. I don't have to know how. All I need to have is the assurance, the belief, the knowing that if I call the magic of the crow feather to be, so it is. I can tell you that crow feather can be used for healing. I conduct a monthly healing service at the Unity Church in Merced at 12:30 p.m. If there are those of you who are interested in being touched and or prayed for, having your feet washed or hands laid on your body, then meet the Oracle Shariananda in Merced, California on the third Sunday of each month at 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. There is a healing service that I do, and I use crow feathers. And again, the crow feather can be used to touch the body in any place that is aching. I can direct energy with it as if it were a laser pointer. I can have a person hold the crow feathers and say specific words that might be useful. Of late, I have found a new set of magic words, I call them, from the Chinese culture that I think might be useful to add to our crow vocabulary right now. And if I can pull them up for you, I will. Just one moment, please. Okay, and here we are. These are words that I would love to be able to say with crow feather. Here we go. Unga a ayu amala kundo kuso vidu suni umbu puluka pudu. How do you like that? So those would be a Chinese chant for a blessing of goodness on one's life. I will repeat that, and I am sure my pronunciation is not exact, but it will serve the purpose to intend to have a healing saying these words. Unga ayu amala kundo kusu vidu suni umba puluka podu. And those would be useful words to apply when using the crow feathers. But there are other magical words in our universe. There are words that are ordinary that can bring about specific change. So if you look into the camera a moment and repeat after me, you will now be able to experience the crow's magic with just the words you, me, money, home, pie, joy, no, yes, mama, egg. Those will work. So those are some of the words that I think that might serve you. The other things that you can do that crow will allow you to do is to manifest. And again, crow feathers can be used as if it were a magic wand. You declare, I do want a new phonographic system. I do want a Cadillac 2012 Coupe de Ville. I do want my mother to be well. I do want to have a new job. Crow feathers are excellent in helping you put the energy into the put the energy that is of your body into the field of being that we call life. It is a physical universe, but we're manipulating metaphysical principle by waving the crow feather. Crow feathers also protect us. So if you have need for protection, one of the things you want to do is carry a crow feather inside of a book, your purse, your pocket. I tend to have crow feathers in my car, crow feathers in my office, above my doors. I have crow feathers under my bed and crow feathers in what I call floral arrangements. So this is a flower vase, and I have not only crow feathers, gull feathers, I have parrot feathers, and I have, looks like I've got peacock feathers. So feathers over and above everything else are always spiritual conduits. So you want to make crow and crow feathers or raven feathers, should you find them, be the principal feather for directing energies. Crow feathers, as I said in the first video, are also antenna. So if you want to increase your sense of knowing, it would be nice to hold a crow feather or place one on a band and wear it around your head to receive higher frequencies. I remind you that the frequency 3.406 is a good focus frequency. And finally, crow feathers are a warning. We stop here. Thank you.